This is News 8 at 5.
San Diego travelers scrambling to get their international trips straightened out with the new COVID testing rules that are going to be taking effect on Monday. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Kirsten Holmes. These new federal guidelines require all travelers to test negative for COVID-19 24 hours before arriving to the U.S. as opposed to the 72 hours you used to have. News 8's Heather Hope spoke to a local travel agent about what to do if you're planning a trip abroad.
And just when San Diegans finally thought it was safe and sound to travel for the holidays, in comes the Omicron variant, prompting new federal restrictions for traveling. Travel agents say for all those going anywhere internationally, be on alert, especially when it comes to COVID testing.
People have to think twice, and they are thinking twice.
Travel agent Bobby Finley of Bobby's Travel and Tours says she's seen an uptick in trip cancellations due to the Omicron variant.
Now people are questioning, do I want to go now? Do I need to go now?
With positive COVID cases of the Omicron variant popping up in multiple U.S. states, in addition to dozens of countries, President Joe Biden issued travel bans for arrivals from 8 southern African countries and required starting December 6th that all air travelers to the U.S. be required to test negative for COVID-19 24 hours before arriving. But what if you test positive and the rest of your group tests negative?
Guess what? Your family is going to say goodbye to you because they will have the opportunity to go ahead of you, and you will unfortunately not be able to get on the plane.
Bobby says some hotels provide COVID testing, but many travelers are buying their own rapid tests to take with them at their own expense.
They could be quite costly.
But if you're left behind in a foreign country, where do you stay?
And you're at the mercy of what you could find. You'll have to go back to your hotel. You've already checked out. Are they booked?
Bobby says now more than ever is the best time to purchase travel insurance, and not just any insurance.
You need to get the kind of travel insurance that is canceled for any reason.
The 24-hour COVID test policy has some San Diego travelers annoyed.
I think the back and forth of the rules changing frequently is slightly confusing, especially for international when every country and city is different.
The federal mask mandate on planes and public transportation also remains in effect until March 18th.
I think to save lives and to slow the spread of the new variant, it's likely necessary, and it seems like a reasonable measure.
Bobby Finley just returned from a 3-day Princess cruise to Ensenada, where tests were available aboard the ship.
On the return, the cruise line will test you, knowing the rules and regulations for entering back into the United States.
Again, starting Monday, all international inbound travelers are required to test within 1 day before arriving to the U.S. Heather Hope, News 8.
All right, Heather, thanks. The county reporting a spike in local COVID cases. All this seems to be happening because of Thanksgiving gatherings. 1,153 new cases reported in yesterday's latest update. That's compared to daily case counts that we've had around the 600, so almost double what we've seen the previous couple of days. Officials say they don't think this spike is due to the Omicron variant, adding that the Delta variant is still affecting people here. U.S. health officials continue to urge people to go ahead and get vaccinated.
There's every reason to believe that if you get vaccinated and boosted, that you would have at least some degree of cross protection, very likely against severe disease, even against the Omicron variant.
Overall, about 75% of San Diego County residents ages 5 and older are fully vaccinated.
It happens when the conditions are just right. This weekend, San Diego saw some of the highest tides of the year.
Around 8:15 this morning, king tides reached their peak at about 7.5 feet. News 8's Tim Blodgett spoke to nature lovers about what they're learning from this year's king tides.
The king tides are back in San Diego. The unusually high tide has brought out surfers, scientists, bird watchers, and everyone else fascinated with the local ecosystem.
It only happens once or twice a year. The alignment between the sun, the moon, and the earth creates a gravitational pull, causing some of the biggest tides of the year to hit our coastal community. This morning, surfers enjoyed nice swells and flocks of birds floated on the higher tides.
And you can see here that the Yesterday, there was actually a small beach there.
Not only do king tides bring nature lovers like Karen Zirk out to estuaries like this one here on Rose Creek, but they give volunteers valuable information on what these areas could look like after sea level rises due to climate change.
We're adding data to the data we collected last year and the year before, and then the scientific community can use that to say, oh, is it getting significantly worse? What's the rate of increase? By putting all these different data points together, it's really helping paint a picture of what our coastal communities are facing.
Coastal communities like San Diego are particularly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Down in Imperial Beach by the Tijuana Estuary, an area that has been known to flood during king tides, California State Parks interpreter Empress Holiday says events like these can give residents an idea of what their community could look like if sea levels continue to rise.
We're going to be seeing this on a regular basis, so this will eventually be our average tides, but we're also going to still be having king tides, right? So we're going to see even more of that water coming in and impacting a lot of the houses in the coastal areas.
But the large crowds of photographers and bird watchers is an encouraging sign for Holiday. She says it shows they're interested in protecting their local ecosystem.
And that's great that we do have folks that are coming out and that are interested, just because this is really a visualization, right? We're essentially kind of time traveling into what the future is going to be looking like with climate change, with sea level rise.
While the king tide might have passed today, Holiday says they're expecting another one next month. In Imperial Beach, Tim Blodgett, News 8.
You know, what's really cool with these king tides is when they actually go out, because then you can go tide pooling. We went out, we saw octopi, because it was multiple. We saw brittle star. We saw a lot of interesting fish.
Why didn't you tell me
go
about it? I want to
tide
go
pooling.
too. I didn't even, tide pooling was a thing. You know, I'm new, still figuring it out.
There are a lot of cool places to do it here.
Invite me next time.
You got it.
All right, so it's finally starting to feel more like fall this weekend, but how long can we expect those cooler temps to last?
Let's check in with Carrie Lane. She's in for Sean Stiles tonight with answers and a look at the microclimate forecast.
Yes,
Carrie?
and Kirsten, I've got you. You still have one more day to go check out the king tides. It's going to last through tomorrow, so don't be upset if you're watching this and going, oh, I wish I knew. There's still a chance to take the kiddos out tomorrow afternoon and experience that, see the octopi, like Steve said, and all the good creatures. So tomorrow is going to be the time that you want to go. Sunday, we're going to see the high tide in the morning around 8:53. That's when we could see some slight flooding. That's mostly going to be like at Carlsbad State Beach, Imperial Beach, more low-lying areas. But the fun part is the low tide. So at 4:15 tomorrow, around that time is when you want to be at the tide pools. There's La Jolla Beach, and there's also other locations. Go to our website, CBS8.com. You'll see a list of those locations that you can go to and check out all the fun little sea creatures along our coastline. So tomorrow is the day to do it. Take the family, get outside. Current temperature is pretty chilly out there. We're in the upper 50s along the coast, mid-50s in Poway, Ramona, 53 degrees, Julian, mid-50s, Borrego Springs, 73. There is a change-up on the way. I'll get to in a little bit here. 57 degrees right now in downtown San Diego. Those clouds are starting to roll back in. 81% humidity. Winds are out of the northwest, 7 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we're going to see a little bit of a warm-up. We do have this low pressure system. This is what kept us pretty seasonal today, but a high pressure system moving in tomorrow. Now, it's a weak Santa Ana, so we're going to see the westerly winds, but we're going to see the warming only stretch to about the inland valleys. Once you get to the coastline, those temperatures will drop because it's not strong enough to bring that warmth all the way to our coast. So inland valleys tomorrow probably going to be about in the mid-70s. Along the coast, we're going to be in the 60s. Low pressure system shortly after that, that is going to cool us off rather quickly and bring us a slight chance of rain. I've got all those details coming up in just a little bit. Guys?
All right, Carrie, you'll see in a few minutes. Tonight, we are hearing from a San Diego small business owner who is finally back home after making it out of Afghanistan.
That's right. Congressman Darrell Issa says he and his team helped Prince Wafa and his wife escape the country. Wafa went to Kabul just after the U.S. withdrawal, where his wife was waiting for her visa paperwork to process.
I'm smelling the freedom, and it's very, you know, I was super excited to just see back like my work, people around me, and it was just a big relief to be here.
Wafa was able to reach out to Issa for help through the Afghanistan Evacuation Assistance Portal.